Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US indices. We'll be looking at the SP500, the NASDAQ, Amazon, and perhaps one of the banks as well. Now, obviously, the events in Syria have, could shake the markets a little bit, but however, the weekend markets that are open haven't really been affected that much. So I don't think there's going to be a strong sort of change in our course here. What we're looking at here obviously is a correction. We've got wave 3 up here on the daily chart, and we do have an A wave, a B wave, and we can count 5 waves down here. So it is possible that we've got wave 4 in place here. But the thing that sort of haunts me about this is that the current move up through here is not really displaying a strong impulse wave like, say, this first leg in through here. It's really in a state of like churning to the upside, you know, so it's in a weaker situation. So what we've done in that case, we've looked at possible wave 4 dropping lower to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree over here, and it can move past that too. However, in this instance here, we can count this as a wave 1 here and a wave 2 over into this space. We can also count this move down through here too as wave 1 here and wave 2 here. Either way doesn't really matter, and then we'll look at wave 3, 4 and 5 coming into this sort of space here. So we do think that this is the case here. So this is what we're running with until sort of proven otherwise. I know that we have been going long in through this space here, and we'll address that situation as we move into the intraday markets here. So just going with the 4-hour chart here, this is one of the possible counts here with from wave B here, looking down to wave C here, and we're looking at this as wave 1, an A wave here, a B wave here, and then looking at this as a C wave moving up here. This counts in, well, you can really count this in many different ways actually, so it's not a strong count, so we don't want to sort of pin our hopes on it too much. If I can just clear this out a little bit through here. We've had this stop here on the short side at basically 26.29 here on this low here. We could lift that up here now as well. As I've probably mentioned before with the trading levels, 2500 is a medium levels, halfway between 2000 and 3000 obviously. The next important level from this one here is the number 8 here, which is a minor trading level, and then the next important level after that is the halfway mark between these two here, which is the 2650 here. So we can see that the 2650 has been looking for support here, couldn't find it, still resistance, but now it's actually finding support. So while it's finding support on that level there, we can't go short, but we can certainly go short under this level. So what we'll do, we'll drill into this area here, but I believe that, I mean, there's different ways to count this little move up in through here. So as I've mentioned, we don't have a concrete, high confident count in it. So we really need to use this number here. So this number as support, then we need to see the market moving up, and this number as resistance, we need to see the market moving down. It's kind of that simple at this stage. So let's move into the 2-hour chart here. So with the 2-hour chart, it's possible to count this market like this here. So wave 1 here, then wave, I mean, see, this doesn't have a new low here, but on the NASDAQ it does. So we can count this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So anyway, that's not really the issue at the moment, but counting this up from here as an A wave and a B wave is quite clear. I mean, if that's the low, we could also count this up as wave 1 and 2 here. But as I've mentioned, this particular move through here is not moving like an impulse wave. Yes, it is. It's got all the structures in there, but it's also got this sort of churning aspect in there that is struggling to move up higher. But I have to say, while the market has been delivering 5 waves in these little structures here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, then we need to look at the down moves as if they're corrective, and this move down through here so far is actually in 3 waves, and we will drill into this here in a moment as well. But while it stands in 3 waves here, we can still see it moving up into this space up here to complete wave 5 of C of 2 here. So yeah, so in fact what we can do here is I can just borrow this here and we can move this up into this space here, okay? And I'll explain that in a moment, because the current move down through here so far is in 3 waves. We could also copy this here and go for a long trade, new long trade on the top of that little high there as well, because you know the market has been resistance here and it's moved across and migrated across, and it's, you know, it's got support here now. So that support may not hold, and that's why we would take a short trade. But if it does hold and make a new, not high here, but this second high here, then we can move in from that point. So I just want to go into the tick chart and have a little bit of a look at this. Also too, that this can count also as being finished here as well within all of this here too. So wave 4 here, and this is the last little 5th wave here. So that can be completed within here as well, okay? So this is why I say it's not a strong case. I can see that it can be counted in different ways, and I don't, you know, when I see that, I don't like to be fixed on it, you know. It's not really a matter of being sort of right or wrong with the count. What matters at the end of the day is making money, and you know, we need to be on the right side at the right time. So this is where we need to be in here. So I'm just going to cut into the tick chart here, and as you can see with the tick chart, this is the top sort of area here, and we've got this move down through here. It could be counted as an A wave, a B wave as a corrective wave, and then 5 waves down for the C wave here. This little move here starts to appear impulsive, in that we can look at this as a strong little 3rd wave in the middle here. So it's got the ability to be, you know, 5 waves up here. It can go further and correct a bit and then move up there as well. But what I can say is that if I could just use this horizontal line here and also just put it in another color here. So realistically here, if this is only an A and a B and a C wave here, if this top gets taken out here, at that point it confirms it being just that, because at the moment it can be down for 1, back for 2, down for 1, coming back up for 2 here into the 61.8% retracement level or somewhere close to that, and then move down again, and then we've got ourselves the bear market at that point. So if that's the case, then we need to copy that, we can put that there, and we can short it at that point there. So these are the 2 safest points here. So let's see how the market opens and settles with that serious situation. And yeah, we're sort of in Elliott terms, there's a possibility to have another move to the upside, and if that's the case, then we can move in from this space here. But if that doesn't get taken out and it moves down from that point, then we need to be short on this side, because if it moves down from up here somewhere, then we'd look at this as down for 1, back for 2, down for 3, 4 and 5 here. So this would be down for 1, back for 2, down for 1, back for 2, and then 3, 4 and 5 for the 3rd wave. So there'll be 1, 2, 5 waves down for the 3rd wave here. So we'd be in a perfect position if we took this short trade and it panned out in that particular direction there. Okay. Right, the NASDAQ here, basically in the same situation. We're also been calling it in long from that particular point there. We don't really need that there now. We can also do, this has got those 3 little waves there as well, so we can put that there now. We could also put, if you've been long, if I can just copy that and configure that there. If you've been long currently as well so far, then we can also put that there as well as the stop under that particular low there. So in this case here, the 5 waves can also be completed, but currently we've still got that little ABC pattern in here, and that can be moving to the upside there. So if I just cut through onto the tick chart here, okay, so then we've got the same pattern there as the other markets. So your stop loss needs to go here, and you can go long again from here. I mean, if you're long already, well then that's fine. Your stop would go here, and you can also add to long positions at this point here. I'll just check the hourly chart. I don't know if I've updated it or where it is at the moment. Okay, yeah, so this has got a bullish count here on this low here, but we don't know if that's the case either just yet. Do you know what I mean? So we need to see more price action over here. But at the same time, we've done all the right things, because we could see from the move up from this low here, this low was never made on the SP 500, but on this market it has. So it's quite possible to have this as the end of the situation here. So, you know, we see the first move up as an impulse wave. We see the ABC coming back. So we know that we could go long right on that point there. Yes, we could have gone long here or here, but we could move it down into that point. So if you're long here, it has been churning through here. It's not really displaying a bullish sort of what do you call it, behavior, but in terms of behavior it has, because it's showing us impulse waves to the upside and corrective waves to the downside. So impulse is up and corrective waves to the downside, but it's just got that, you know, the personality of it rather, I guess. It's just churning, not really sort of, it's not powerful like this. I mean, if this is wave 3 moving up here, then it needs to be stronger than this here. I suppose it could be building a base, and there's arguments about it all, but I just sense something's not quite right with it. So we just need to play a tighter game. So in this case here, if we're being long here, then we need to bring the stop to here. But also too, if I can just copy that, we can also go short on that one there as well from that point. And of course, one of the drivers within this tech sector here is Amazon. And just looking at Amazon here, it's a little bit sort of different, this stock, because most of the others, the NASDAQ and the SP 500, we've got this here as wave 3 over here, and then we have an A wave here and a B wave up here and a C wave here. And that's, you know, you could probably work it like that, but when I look at Amazon here, it doesn't figure that way, because I can see we've got an A and a B and a C here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 here and back for 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the third wave. So I'm more inclined to put it up here, but I know it's debatable, but I don't particularly, you know, so if somebody's got a very clear count on this, well then, you know, I'm really happy to see it, but I just want to be, I'm aware of both situations here, but also at the same time, you know, we need to just be open and be flexible. Sometimes it's a problem being fixed on something, and you know, unless you're really sure, then that's fine. But I would be sure to go long if we had the medium level here, 1500 as support. All right. Otherwise, I'm looking at this here as an A wave down here, a B wave here, and a C wave moving down here. Now, in this instance here, we're on the daily chart here, you can't see it, but we moved up strong here on all of the markets, and then we've got the correction, and then we've got this churning aspect here. So the market could certainly move higher up into this space here, but at the same time, we need to prepare for short trades as well. You could probably get a closer you know, move in with this here, but on a technical level, this move up through here and the correction here, and then moving up here, this low, these lows here, would be the catalyst for this market starting its move to the downside, because then it would rule out, it just finishes it. It finishes that pattern anyway. So we could say a move through the 1400 here ignites this one here, but of course this is a strong market. It's not going to be one of the leaders to the downside. You know, it's the one that's it became this high here Some markets never made it back above this high here and had their correction. Other markets had a little high above it, but Amazon had a large high above it. So it's one of the strongest. So it's probably not the best short to have. There will be weaker markets to trade with this. I just want to have a look at one of the banks, Morgan's here. So this is JP Morgan, and this is on a tick chart here. So in most cases here, this is the correction starting in February here at this point here. I won't go into the whole count here, but what I wanted to sort of say here is that if I got some, I'll just copy a couple of these just to point out. Whoops, a daisy. I mean, the banks have a, whoops, Monday morning, I had a bit of a late night going up and doing a workshop up at Newcastle, so getting back a bit late. So here, doing this a bit roughly here, but I could count the 5 waves down here. I'm not going to go into that at the moment, but in this situation here, we can look at this here as an A and a B and a C wave here. We could look at it, we could also look at this as being over here as well, but it doesn't really matter which way you look at it, because the fact is that this strong move down through here is in 5 waves. There's no overlapping wave structures in it, so we can look at this having some type of little ABC bounce. I can't draw on this side of the tick chart here, but it can move back up here to the 50-60% mark up here. Wouldn't quite hold my breath about that, but it is possible, because we looked at the S&P and the NASDAQ, that 3-wave structure coming down can send the market higher. So in this case here, well, I'll set this up because we can look at it again. We can use it as an example. And it's nice to bring all the other markets, even though we're just trading the indices here. It's sort of important. I mean, these things drive the indices, so it's nice to sort of look at the tech stocks and the banks, follow the money and all that sort of stuff to see where these are here. So this strong move down through here, if we see this as a corrective move back up into this space here or a bit lower, probably not finding support on group 1, so there would be 11, 12 and 13 here. So we wouldn't expect it to find support there. So if we can see this in a corrective move here, then we can certainly short the banks from this point. So we've seen it move down in 5 waves. I know that this correction could get a bit bigger and so on, but here, as you could look at this here as a different way as well. You can look at this as the A wave coming down here, a B wave here as an A and a B and a C here for the B wave, and down for the C wave here, making it larger correction. But I don't need to go there just yet because of where the US markets are. So I'm going to leave it like this here, but I say these other counts because you may have them yourself, and it's just good to talk about them. That's what the video is for, to shoot the breeze on different counts and have a bit of a yak about things. So let's just also follow this here. Let's just see, and of course, if this low gets taken out here, then you can just go short from here as well. You don't need to wait around in that instance, because we do have the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the 5th wave down into here. So we're looking for an A and a B and a C coming back up. I should just bring that over there a little bit further. So that will be in there somewhere. That will probably be back here, just a bit more realistic, in something in there. So let's watch this here, and we'll pick up a few other banks too. But it's just, let's keep an eye on the banks of this particular rally. We want to find our short trades into these markets. So looking around the block a little bit at the others, it can be sort of helpful. It helps us to bring it all together a little bit. Alrighty, I think that we will leave it at that for the time being. Cheers.